with signs of a return to WWE and more. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Mentioning the Bloodline splitting up, Kofi Kingston then said this about the possibility of a New Day breakup. You already know that we are and we always will be. We took an oath, a blood oath, and we said that we will never break up. If someone tries to break us up and drive a wedge in between, tries to crack our foundation and drive a wedge in between us, like, we just won't have it. It's like we always said, everybody out there, it's cool to have all the different groups, but at a certain point in time, they get jealous of one or the other, and then they want to stab one in the back. Or like you have with the Shield, someone hitting somebody with a chair, and they want to go off and do their thing, and that's great, that's fine. We're not doing that, man. Our foundation is just too strong. That's just the way it is. The way we've always said it was going to be. We've been together since 2016. You haven't even seen us do as much as a collision in the ring. Sometimes you have a little miscue. You might be holding somebody, and then you go to hit that person and they move out of the way and you hit your own partner. Oh my God. You haven't even seen us do that because we're always on the same page, and that's the way that it's going to be. That's just how we are. That's our bond. You know what I'm saying? Recalling his favorite segment from his WWE career, Kurt Angle said on his podcast, "I'm going to tell you this right now. It wasn't a wrestling segment. It was the milk truck, dousing down Stone Cold Steve Austin and Stephanie McMahon with milk in the Alliance. It was the best feeling in the world. I was on cloud 9 that night." It was one of those things. You remember when Austin did the beer truck? It was the same thing. It was an incredible moment, and the great thing was it was tied to Stone Cold. During his appearance on the Full Send podcast, Hulk Hogan talked about the modern pro wrestling landscape, saying, "All the guys I wrestled looked like monster-sized, and nowadays there are a lot of guys that look like wrestlers and a lot of guys that don't. A lot of guys that look like wrestlers, and then you got guys that look like they should be bagging my groceries." So the difference is how athletic the guys are. Smaller guys can do all kinds of crazy stuff. They do so much impressive stuff in one match. I wouldn't do that much in a year. But what does it mean, you know? For that same interview, Hulk Hogan mentioned his strained relationships with the likes of Randy Savage and Scott Steiner, and then said, "The only other person was Bret Hart, who thought I basically sabotaged his career because Bret thought he should have been the greatest wrestler that ever lived, and he said it was my fault." Talking about WWE bringing back the WCW Triple Cage match, Booker T said on his Hall of Fame podcast, "Yeah, I think if anybody can make it work, it would be WWE. You know, they got the budget and the manpower to actually be able to secure something like that. That cage is crazy. And I remember the concept from Ready to Rumble, right? It was crazy. It looked awesome. It looked, from a movie perspective, it actually looked awesome. I don't know if it will work today though. Something I would be willing to explore, I tell you that. Well, like I said, I think if anybody could do it, WWE could definitely pull something off like that. I definitely love to see it." Saying this about his favorite gimmick match, Booker T noted, "Like of all time, I guess the San Francisco 49ers match. No, man, but my favorite game is a match. It goes back to a day you probably wouldn't even remember, but it was called the Coal Miners Glove match, started right here. They did that match here in Houston, Texas. The Coal Miners Glove match was always intriguing for me to see the guy get that glove on and go to work with it, win the cage matches and, the ladder matches, stuff like that. But for me, it's just that match right there had a certain vibe about it." With it looking like Tommaso Ciampa will reunite with Johnny Gargano following his future return to WWE, Ringside News wrote that, according to a recent report from PW Insider, fans can expect a long-awaited reunion to take place in the near future. Tommaso Ciampa, who has been absent from shows since last fall, is said to be nearing a return, possibly as early as next month. Following his hip surgery in October, Ciampa has been sharing updates on his recovery progress through videos and photos on social media. Talking about his current character as a heel on NXT, Bron Breakker told Busted Open Radio, "I think this is just more natural for me, to be honest with you. It just fits me a whole lot better. I don't have to be a character or get into character. This is more natural in who I am. I'm having a lot of fun. When I was the NXT champion, towards the end of the long run that I had, people started to turn on me and change their tune when I came out. It's tough. I felt reserved, like I'm holding this back. I can't really describe it. Finally, I was like, screw it. I'm done caring what these people think of me." Following Smackdown and the Usos turning on him, Roman Reigns would be left in the ring as fans mocked him. Taking to Twitter, AEW commentator Jim Ross posted a photo of his face showing off a black eye as he wrote "Bad fall this morning, still headed to Chicago for Collision." Giving a health update on Jerry the King Lawler, Dutch Mantel noted on Storytime, "I have heard this is news on Jerry Lawler. You know, his recent stroke that he had in February that put him in the hospital, almost killed him, and he's had some more mini strokes along the way. He is much better, but still not recovering as well as they would hope. He has trouble finishing sentences. I mean, he talks well, his voice has changed somewhat. He talks, but when he gets to the end of the sentence, he starts searching for words to end the sentence and he gets frustrated. He's an artist, but he's having trouble with his right hand. I think he had on, strokes are odd, on the left side of the body. It affects the other side, so I think he had it on his left side. He's right-handed. He has trouble now doing his art, which is really frustrating him because he was, and still is probably a tremendous artist, but he is not where he needs to be. That's why he wasn't live at WrestleMania. He wasn't cleared to travel. I'm going to say that I think we've seen him on his last Raw. If there is any, and I hope I'm wrong, but if there's any indication that he may not be able to do it, if there's like a 5% chance that something might happen, he's not doing it because if something happened on Raw, can you imagine how badly Raw would get roasted for having him on there after having those strokes? Jerry, we have the same birthday, same year, same day. Say that all the time. I used to call him my cosmic brother, but I hope he gets better and I hope he's okay. When it comes to those in the running to win Money in the Bank, LA Knight and Damian Priest are seen as favorites. Now, WWE insider BWE has noted that third contender comes in for men's Money in the Bank. We'll update soon. Recently, it was noted that Carlito told a promoter that he had signed with WWE. Now, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful said, in addition to the previously announced date that Carlito withdrew from, he also pulled from a show in Lexington as well. We've confirmed that he and WWE have had talks of late. If hired, he'd be the first main roster hire of 2023. Speaking about the divide between CM Punk and the Elite, Samoa Joe told Sports Illustrated, "This isn't a divide. It's an argument between men. All those dudes don't represent the entire genre of their generation. They have their own issues and their own problems. I don't think it's that deep. They're grown-ass men. They have disagreements. They can figure it out or not. That's between them." Also talking about the issues that AEW stars have had with CM Punk, Miro told Good Karma Wrestling, "I get along with him fine," Miro said about CM Punk. "Every time we talk, I feel like we have a mutual respect. Yeah, so I've never had anything bad, like engaged with him, but you know, everybody hears a whole bunch of things. But man, if you're not happy with something, just do whatever you want to do and then go cry in your mansion. I don't understand all the lashing out, but everybody's responsible for their own actions. Like I said, I get along with him good. We've talked, we had great interactions, even though we had 2 or 3 of them. But yeah, I don't care. I look at myself. I don't look at other people's plates. That's what the Bible taught me. Don't look at other people's plates. Take care of yourself and everybody else. All you can do is just pray for them, and whatever happens, happens." as CM Punk touched on his issues with the Elite during a recent ESPN interview. Fightful has noted that since the publishing of the article, many have stated that it didn't seem nearly as bad as indicated. Several on the AEW roster have pointed out that unlike many of the others in the situation, Hangman Page doesn't have restrictions on being able to talk about his experiences with Punk, and still goes out of his way to not talk about Punk as to not stir anything up. Dating back to last summer, we're told that Punk had met with higher-ups and asked that the Hangman Page comments on TV that alluded to Colt Cabana be addressed in some manner, and that he'd grown very frustrated that nothing was done about it to the level of his satisfaction, which he referenced in the ESPN interview. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.